everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would share my updated eyeshadow palette collection. And this is actually my second time recording this video. I recorded this video about a month ago, and since then for Black Friday I purchased so many eyeshadow palettes that I thought it would just make more sense just to re-record the video since I hadn't uploaded yet. Now whenever I come to what I got during Black Friday, I will make a note to let you know. One thing I'm going to say is that I do love eyeshadow. It's my favorite part of getting ready. I love to treat myself with eyeshadow, so I know I have a lot more than any one person needs, but I do love eyeshadow and it just makes me happy. Another thing I will say is that I love to depot my eyeshadow, so anytime a palette comes, if it's magnetic and you can easily remove them, I love to rearrange my shadows. If I can keep the packaging, if the packaging is nice and it's magnetic, I will keep the packaging and I will just rearrange within the packaging. I like to do mattes light to dark, and then I like to do shimmers light to dark. Some of them, the packaging is bulky. Sometimes there'll be a few shadows from each palette that I don't love, that I just don't use, so I will depot them. I actually have a heating depotting tool, and I rearrange them and I put them into magnetic palettes. So when I get to they're off to the side. When I get to the magnetic palettes, I will do my best to try to tell you what palette it was before it was depotted. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First one I have here is Makeup Revolution. This is Give Them Darkness. I actually got this as a free gift. I was able to I bought from their website a couple years ago, and I bought like 2 face palettes, and then you get buy 2 get 1 free or something like that. So I picked this because this is something that I would never pick, and I don't have shadows like this because I don't gravitate towards really dark shadows. I like, for the outer V to be dark, but I like my lid to be nice and bright, light and bright. But I got this for Halloween, and I have used this for the last 3 years in a row. I really liked it. If I can find my Halloween look that I did off of Instagram, I will insert it. I did like the purple in the crease, and then also as the outer V, and then on the lid I did just a sparkly orange top shadow. So if I can find that, I'll show you now. Okay, then I have Huda Beauty Smoky Obsessions. They're little 9 pans. I used to have the amethyst one, but it was way too pink for me. It wasn't purple, it was too pink, and I had tried to depot to keep the few that I wanted, and her pans are not magnetic, which to me is garbage because Huda Beauty is not cheap, and the fact that her pans aren't magnetic kind of irritated me. But anyways, this is the Smoky Obsession one. This one's nice, the quality is good. Inner corner highlight is missing from this, and that's like kind of the one thing that deters me from using this. I mean, yes, I can reach for another palette, which is fine, I don't mind doing that, but I don't know, I just would have liked maybe like this, instead of being this dark brown, maybe that to be like a champagne or sparkly white or something. But anyways, good quality. I'm not going to rush out to buy any more Huda Beauty, but it is good quality. Okay, then I have Alter Ego Goddess palette. This is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold palette, which I don't have. Good quality, I like it. I've used this a few times. Quality is nice. I do enjoy the looks that I get from it. The sparkles are, really sparkly and pretty, so I like this one. Not my most reach for palette, but I do like it, and it is good quality. Okay, then I have Urban Decay Born to Run. This is probably, of all the palettes I have, this is the one that I would most likely declutter. I actually never jumped on the bandwagon right away when this palette came out. Everyone was raving about, oh, that's my husband's leg lamp. Everyone was raving about this palette, and I just knew that the color story was a little bit too dark for me and I wouldn't love it. So I didn't get it, and then everyone just kept talking about it, and then like a year later after it came out, I did end up getting it for Black Friday. It was like 50% off, and I don't love it, you guys. I should have just gone with my initial instincts. It's too dark. There's no inner corner highlight. You have this weird kind of like satin cream color that should be a champagne, or it should be like a white, and these colors are they're just too dark for me. Pretty, I like looking at it, but on the eyes I just feel uncomfortable every time I use this. So this is a palette that I would declutter, but it is really nice quality, and I do keep it just, if I ever want to do something dramatic, or maybe even just to like, smoke up the lower lash line with one of these darker colors. I have it, and it is good quality, so I don't necessarily want to get rid of it, but it is probably my least favorite palette. Okay, then I have my 2 Anastasia Beverly Hills. I had at one point the Modern Renaissance that I got years after everyone, was talking about it and hyping it up, and I didn't understand it. I didn't love it, so I had depotted it, and then I still didn't love the shadows that I had depotted, and I eventually just got rid of it. The two that I had that I love is the Jackie Aina palette. I love the color story on this. It is so beautiful. And yes, these are darker colors, but I use a fluffy brush and it diffuses, you know, like this, you know, that's kind of dark. It's meant for, you know, darker skin tone. So, you know, obviously it's going to be a little dark for me, but I just use a fluffy brush and diffuse it out, and it's beautiful. This shade right here is like a brown green duochrome flip. So beautiful. This sparkly shade is just so sparkly, so beautiful. The only shades in here that I really just am like, I'm never gonna wear those, is that bright bubblegum pink. This purple is a little bit dark, although that would probably be nice on the lower lash line as well. And then this red, I don't really love red eyeshadows, but overall I really love the shadow palette, and it's really nice quality. And then probably my favorite of the two is the Sultry palette. This one is just a beautiful, mostly cool toned palette, minus that weird pop of coral. I don't understand why that coral is in there, but I love this palette. It's so beautiful. Again, these like sparkly shades are just so pretty. This right here, Cyborg, so beautiful. Just a really, really nice palette, and I love reaching for this one. Okay, then we have Too Faced Gingerbread Extra Spicy. This is the only Too Faced. Oh no, I have one other Too Faced. I got this one. This is the extra spicy, so this is the second one that came out, and this is just so cute. I don't reach for this a ton because I don't love these such warm oranges on a regular basis. Obviously I knew this was, you know, a spicy palette was going to be warm, and I wanted to give it a try, and I wanted to try their formulas in their tin packaging. I had their the chocolate bar, again, years after everyone was raving about it. I got it a few years ago, and I didn't understand the hype. I didn't love it. I didn't think the quality was that great, and I depotted the ones that I liked the most out of it, and then again I just never really used them, so I ended up decluttering all the depotted. But this one is so pretty. The quality is really nice, so when I do feel like, you know, something a little more warm in the fall, I do reach for this, and I do really enjoy all the looks I've made. I actually used this in that get ready I did with me where my son picked my makeup. He picked this palette. Okay, and the other Too Faced palette that I have is the Natural Lust. I love this palette. This palette is so pretty, just so soft and girly, and it's just for a very lovely, soft, delicate look. It's so pretty, and it's got these really sparkly shades. There's a few that are, let me see if I can find one, like this one. I don't know if you can tell, but you can kind of see how they're a little more textured and they're really sparkly, so you can just kind of dab them on top of the lid color, like barely dab, and it'll just give like a sparkly topper effect. So pretty. Really, really enjoy this palette. Really nice quality, and I like it. I don't see myself decluttering this at all. I really enjoy it. Okay, then I have Violet Voss. This is a combination of Like a Boss and then the Holy Grail, which I had gotten in a BoxyCharm, and then I liked the quality, and then so I bought myself the Like a Boss, and then there were several shades from each palette that I wasn't using that I didn't like, so I depotted them both and then put them, the ones that I wanted, into the one palette. Now these I had to be really fast with. I had to be really fast with depotting because the pans are not magnetic, which again, like, why? So I had to be very careful. I had to depot one shade at a time from that one, depot one from this one, and then quickly shove it back in before the glue dried so that I could keep it in the palette. So if I had my choice and I had been able to just depot them, and then, because a lot of times the pans will be magnetic, but the palette won't be magnetic, so the palette will be held down by glue. In this instance, and also with the Huda Beauty, the pan is not magnetic. The palette is not magnetic, but the pans are not magnetic either, which means there's no way to hold them down unless you put like a little magnetic sticker on the back of them, and I'm not going through all that trouble. So like I said, I had to very quickly pull one out of there, let the glue melt so I could pull it out, and then shove it into the space before the glue dried, and then, wedge it in so that it would stick back with the glue. If I had my choice, I would have depotted everything, and I would have done, light to dark with matte. I don't reach for this a ton, but I do really like it. This shade right here is really interesting. Some of these shades, I used this a couple times a few weeks ago because I hadn't used it in a while, and some of the shades burnt my eyes, and I don't remember that ever happening before, so I might end up decluttering this in the future, because I have tons of shadows that don't burn my eyes. So, you know, I don't need to hold on to something that's going to burn my eyes, but I do want to try it a couple more times just to, you know, see if it was a fluke or anything. But really, really pretty. I do like the shadows, and it is nice quality. Okay, then I just picked this one up for Black Friday. This is a Persona Identity palette. I got this one at Ulta. I had been wanting this palette for quite a while, for a couple years actually. And I knew that Ulta always had it on sale, like during their 21 Days of Beauty and things like that, but I could never manage to get a hold of it. It was always sold out. And then I'd made a purchase to Ulta. Wasn't for Black Friday, it was like 2 weeks before Black Friday, I guess. I had bought a Lorac palette, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. And then as soon as the Lorac palette came in, they had a 40% off sale for Lorac. So there's another palette that I had one, so I went back and got it, and then I saw that this was also 40% off, and it was in stock, so I grabbed it. Really nice. I used this yesterday. Really pretty. I like the mattes. They're very soft and blendable, and the metallics are beautiful. I used this one on the lid, and it was really, really beautiful. A lot of, like, they don't look like much, but the metallic was really intense and really, really beautiful. So the one time I used this, I did really enjoy that. I was able to get this for 40% off. Okay, then I have my Tarte. This is my Tarte in Bloom. First real palette that I ever bought. A few years ago, I was visiting my sister in New York, and I hadn't really gotten into eyeshadow yet. The only eyeshadow that I really owned was like a little drugstore quad. It was probably like Almay or something, or CoverGirl. And I had been wanting to get this one. This was my first eyeshadow palette that I bought. I really enjoy this still. It's just a soft, understated, neutral palette. I really, really like this. I wish that this shade up here was like shimmery or metallic instead of a matte white. But other than that, I do really, really enjoy this palette. I do still reach for it on occasion, and it does still smell really nice. I wish this one, you could pop the shades, because Tarte, a lot of their palettes now, you can just pop them out. They're magnetic, they pop out and you can rearrange them. This one you can't. And I didn't want to destroy the packaging trying to melt the glue on this. Okay, now I've had a lot of Tarte over the years, and I've decluttered a lot of Tarte. Tarte is a brand for me that's like hit or miss. Some of their shadows I really enjoy, some of them not so much. This one is the Young, Wild, and Cruelty Free. Now these ones do pop out and depot, so I pop them out and then rearrange them. Mattes to shimmers. This one is really interesting for Tarte. It's a color story that they don't necessarily do a lot. I know they tend to do just a lot of pinks and browns, and you know, this one does have pinks and browns, but it also has, you know, fun pops of color. This one is good quality. I don't reach for this one a ton, but when I do reach for it, it is really nice, and I do enjoy the quality on this one. Okay, then I have a couple Loracs, little minis. So I used to be into Lorac a few years ago. I had a couple of their palettes, and then I kind of, they just kind of fell off my radar. I hadn't been using them in several years. And then I heard that they redid their formulas and that their new shimmer formula is amazing. So I went to try them. I'll show you in a little bit another one that I got. So when I made my first purchase to Ulta, and I was telling you that I ended up picking this one up the second time, I went and got the Noir, the Lorac Noir, which I'd been trying to get a hold of. That one's on Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty a lot too, and it was always sold out. And so I finally went on, I bought it full price, and then I bought these two little minis that I'm going to show you, full price. And then those came in, and then like the day after I received that first order, Lorac was on sale for 40% off, and then also the Persona. So I went back and I got another palette that I had been eyeing from Lorac as well, which I'll show you in a little bit because they're off to the side in my Z palettes. So these two little minis that I got, this is the mini Mystic Oak. So beautiful. Look at this. It's so, so cute. And these new shimmer formulas are amazing. The matte formulas don't feel too different from their old formula. It's still very soft and buttery, very powdery. Lorac has always been very powdery, so if you're not into that, then you know you wouldn't like their formula, but I personally don't care. And then this one is the Winter Rose. So, so pretty. Now these two I brought to Georgia with me when I went to visit for Thanksgiving. My brother and then my sister came down from New York. These are the only two shadows that I brought, and they were just perfect. First of all, they're so cute. They're lightweight. They have a mirror on them, which, you know, I never really use the mirrors in palettes anyways, but, you know, in a pinch, there's a mirror. And they're just so cute and such good quality. Really, really, really enjoy these. These little mini ones are not magnetic. The rest of their palettes are magnetic. These ones are not. The pans are magnetic, but the palette is not magnetic. So the shadows don't just lift out. Okay, then I got this one for Black Friday as well. So these two, I consider that kind of Black Friday, even though it was technically like 2 weeks before Black Friday, but it was, you know, during their pre-Black Friday sale. Then I picked up Viseart. Viseart is my favorite brand. I love Viseart. I picked up their Petite Fours in Bouillon. And this is just their little like golden black one. This I thought would be really beautiful for like New Year's Eve, but I'm actually working New Year's Eve, so really, really pretty. I haven't worn this one yet, but it's Viseart. I know the quality is amazing. Okay, and then this is my... So the thing with Viseart, I love Viseart. I have a ton of their palettes. Their new palettes now come in like the little easel style, and they all very easily, let me show you, they lift out, and so you can rearrange all of them, and all their palettes are magnetic. So I have depotted all of my Viseart. Now I don't have to use heat on most of them. Most of them, their new stuff now easily lifts out. Their old palettes were glued down, and so the pans were magnetic, but they were glued down. So you would have to use a heating tool to pry them out, and then you could rearrange them, which I did. I had to do that for, I think at least one, but I think 2. And so I did that. I depotted all my Viseart, and I have them in little Viseart. I got 3 of these. I had one that I got during one of their previous sales. Loved it. It's just an empty magnetic palette. And then I got 3 more during their Black Friday sale. I used to have all of my Viseart in a double-sided, huge double-sided Adept palette, which you'll see in a little bit because I have other shadows in them. And I loved seeing all of my shadows, my Viseart shadows, in one place. But it was so big and cumbersome that I found that I just wasn't reaching for my Viseart as much as I wanted to, because I love Viseart. So then once I switched to these smaller magnetic palettes, I love it. So I have 3 that I made color stories of from all the shadows that I have. So this one is my more richer jewel toned one, like darker ones. Like there's a dark edit down there. Down here is a dark edit. A lot of these are from like the Grand Pro 2. I have the Grand Pro 1, the Grand Pro 2. So a lot of these like intense sparkly ones are from the Grand Pro 2. And then these ones are just from another one that I gotten off of Ipsy. I forget what it's called. And then these ones are from the dark edit, I believe, as well. And then these are just some random ones from Grand Pro 1. So this one is my more richer one that I would wear in the fall. Not my most reach for, because like I said, I don't love these darker colors on me. But in the fall, I do like to experiment. And this one, the quality is just amazing. All right, so there's that. And then I also picked up during Black Friday, besides this, I picked up the Cashmere, and then I picked up, which is their new one, I picked up one of their small Petite Pros, I think they're called. They're like the little small pans. And then, like I said, I picked up 3 of these magnetic palettes. Okay, all right, so the rest are my Viseart and my Natasha Denona. So let me just continue with the Viseart. Pull these out. I have this thing that I keep on my acrylic counter, it's like those, I guess like those mail slot type things where you can put palettes in them. I'll take a picture and insert the picture, but this is what I keep on my vanity so I can have access to these palettes. All right, so this one is my everyday palette, a mix from, all the different palettes. Most of these mattes are from like the Grand Pro 1. A lot of these shimmers are from, some of them are from the Grand Pro 2. Some of them, like all of these kind of really sparkly ones, these little ones are from either the Rose Edit or the Paris. And then these ones down here are from one of their Petite Fours. I had the chocolate one, and then the Lila one, which is the pink silver one, and then our purple silver one, and then a third one, I forget what it's called, but that's what these ones are. So this is my everyday neutral palette. I love this. This is just, I love taking this out and just looking at it. Their shadows are just amazing. They're expensive, yes, I know that, but the quality is worth it, and I love it. It's my favorite. Okay, then I have this other palette, I just spent over the weekend a couple hours rearranging all my Visearts again and redoing these color stories. So this one is my pinky purple one. Look at that, you guys. Look how pretty that is. So these ones up here are a combination of the cashmere and then the purple one. I forget what it's called, but it's like the violet Itandu one. And then some of these are from the Theory palettes. I had a bunch of the 6-pan Theory palettes. Some of these, like this one, is from the Grand Pro 2. Some of these, like these smaller ones, are from the Rose Edit or the Paris. And these ones up here are from, where are they? Oh, they're kind of mixed in because I did mattes and then shimmers. But also from the Lila. They're Petite Fours from the Lila. So that is my purple pink. I love this palette. I'm not going to swatch anything. I should probably swatch things for you guys, but it would make this video too long. If there's anything in specific that you want me to show you guys more in depth with swatches or anything, let me know and I can do that in a separate video. Okay, so that is my Viseart. Now I'm going to show you my Natasha Denona. So earlier this year, I bought my very first Natasha Denona, the Glam palette. I bought this from Sephora and just loved it. Loved it. So I've been using this since the beginning of the year. And then I've been waiting all year for Black Friday. I didn't get anything else from Natasha Denona because it's far too expensive. Yes, Viseart, I splurge, but Viseart has a lot of the smaller pans, like smaller palettes, and then the pan sizes are smaller, and they are much more affordable. Natasha Denona has started to do that as well with these midi size ones that are only $65. I know I say only, but compared to her full size, very expensive palettes, these ones are $65. But she has a lot of the bigger ones that I've been wanting, but I'm not going to spend $129 for a palette. Yes, I like to splurge and treat myself with eyeshadow, but I'm not going to spend that much money on one palette. So I've been waiting all year for her Black Friday sale, and that's when I bought a bunch of her stuff, was during Black Friday. But anyways, this is the Glam. I love this palette. It's so beautiful. The sparkles are just so beautiful. The mattes are amazing, really soft, blendable, and I just really, really love this palette. So I've been using this one all year. And then I picked up from Sephora during their VIB sale. I picked up 3 of her minis. Now her minis, her palettes have little pinholes in them, and you can pop the shadows out and then you can rearrange them, which is really nice. Her minis, you can't do that with. They're not, they don't pop out. They're glued down, and I'm not going to destroy these packaging for, to rearrange them. So the first one that I got was the Mini Nude. I picked this one up because I wanted to try her. I got this at Sephora. I wanted to try the quality of her minis because I know some people have said the quality on the minis isn't as good, but I've watched a ton of reviews over the last couple years, so I knew which ones had good reviews. So I picked up this one, really, really liked it. And then I decided before the sale was over that I wanted to pick up a couple more, so I got this one in store. And then really liked the quality of the minis, so I went ahead and ordered the other 2 that I had been eyeing for a while. So the Mini Glam. This one I've worn. I've already worn this one. Really like that one. Quality's really good. And these 2 I haven't worn yet. This one is the Mini Glam. Really, really pretty. This one is right up my alley. The shade-wise, shade selection on this one are colors that I'm really going to enjoy. And then I also picked up the Mini Gold. I didn't want the big gold palette. It was just too much. But this one is perfect because it's a little combination of everything. You've got the greens, you've got the golds, you've got this really beautiful, interesting duochrome shade. And so I thought, cat's food bowl going off. Just a perfect selection for me is this little mini one. Okay, now from Natasha Denona's website for Black Friday, I got 3 palettes. I got the Trio Chrome palette, and again, these ones pop out, so I rearranged all these. So pretty. I wanted something that had a lot of mattes because I really wanted her to like branch out with her matte formula, so I got this one. This is a color story that I normally wouldn't wear. I don't have anything like this, but I really wanted to get it because it's something different and I wanted to play around and experiment. So I got that one, really beautiful. I kept all the shadows in their same rows, but I just rearranged them from light to dark. Okay, and then I picked up, these were like, these two palettes were in a bundle. So it was, I want to say it was at least 50% off for the bundle. And I ended up getting the Viva palette. And these ones, again, they pop out, so I rearranged these. This one I haven't played with yet. I haven't played with the Triochrome yet either, because they just came in yesterday. Both of these palettes just came in yesterday. So this is a Viva one. Now I held off on wanting to get this one for a long time because it is a little bit warm, and I do like cool shadows, but it does have, you know, some of these cooler shades. And again, I wanted to just get a nice selection of her mattes, and you'll see why in a second. So I ended up getting, I've been going back and forth all year on wanting to get her big green brown palette and then her blue purple palette. Now my intentions were to get them both. She has a bundle deal that she's had on her site for a long time, I guess. I don't know, I've only been looking at her site since this year. But she has a bundle deal for her two big palettes, and I was initially going to get them both for Black Friday to see if they went on, you know, even more of a discount, because her bundle package is already discounted. And then at the last minute, I decided not to get the blue purple palette because it would have been an extra, even though it was on sale, it still would have been an extra like $140 from on top of what I was already spending. And I had already bought so much eyeshadow in the last like 2 weeks that I decided to not get the blue purple, because first of all, I really don't wear blue shadows, so a bunch of the shadows in that palette would have gone to waste. And then also I have so much purple, all my Viseart purples, that I decided I didn't really need that one. But the one that I really wanted was the green brown palette. So I did get the green brown palette, and I did depot this one. And these ones don't have the little pinholes, but there's barely just enough space in the corner that I popped a needle in, and they popped out, and I rearranged them. These are so beautiful. There's only 5 mattes up at the top, and the rest is all shimmers, which is another reason why I wanted to get, you know, more of her mattes to pull in. But these are so beautiful. The metallics are just, they're not showing up on camera, but the metallics are just insane. I'm wearing, on my eyes today, I'm wearing this one. In the crease, I'm wearing this. I'll show you in a second. And then on the lid, I'm wearing this one. And then there's no real like outer V matte color, so I ended up using this on the outer V, and it actually really worked. I used just a packing brush, packed it on the outer V, and it works. You guys, this is so beautiful. It's not coming across in camera, but it's just so sparkly and just really beautiful. So from the one time I used this, I'm very impressed. I'm very happy that I did finally get it. I did swatch a bunch of these metallics last night, and they're just amazing. So absolutely love that. Okay, so those are all of my pre-made palettes. Now I'm going to show you all of my Z palettes. Well, not necessarily the brand Z palette, but you know, my magnetic palettes. Okay, so you have to drag the whole palette over, so I'm just going to do one at a time. Okay, so this one are my Inglot shadows, which I've wanted Inglot for years and years and years, at least 6 or 7 years. And then I finally purchased them a couple months ago, and I was going to do a whole video. I did the unboxing part, I filmed the unboxing, and then I was going to do a get ready with me first impressions, and I just never had a chance to film that video. I still have the unboxing portion, and I'm debating whether or not to do the get ready with me part, but it wouldn't be a first impressions because I've already started playing with these. These are my Inglots, good quality. I'm not blown away considering that I've been wanting these and craving these for like 7 years, and then finally getting them, I was a little bit let down. The quality's good, but I think I had hyped it up so much that just in my mind I was gonna be blown away, and I wasn't. Not bad quality, but I just wasn't blown away. Okay, these are all of my Colored Rain shadows. I depotted them all. They had bulky packaging. And then there's just a few shades from each palette that I didn't really need or wasn't gonna wear. And when I depotted them all and got rid of the ones I wanted, they fit perfectly. Without me even like counting them out, just naturally getting rid of the ones I didn't want, they fit perfectly into this palette. So this is a Colored Rain. One of them is the Safari Rain. And another one is, I believe the palette was called Cheers to the Beauty. And these are them. Colored Rain is beautiful. Their metallic formulas are so beautiful, and their mattes blend out seamlessly. They're just really, really, really nice quality. Love these shadows. Again, I don't gravitate towards this a lot because it does have a lot of richer jewel tones, but it is really beautiful, and the several times that I've used these, amazing quality. Okay, this one is just some depotted stuff. Some of it I had actually decluttered, and then I ended up depotting it instead and keeping them. Like this one, these are the Bare Minerals, I forget, Aurora Lights, I want to say, or something like that. These are just a couple Kat Von D stragglers that I have. That one, I believe, is the only shadow I have left from the Naked palette. These are all BH Cosmetics from their like baked palettes that I depotted, and their pans were not magnetic, and also they crumbled. Their baked shimmers crumbled, but they're so amazing that I salvaged them and I put them into little tiny magnetic pans. And these are just some Tarte leftovers that I have from one of their palettes, and then these are just a couple color pops, you know, from their small palettes that I have left over. And then I don't know what those are. They're just some indie shadows. Okay, then I have, these are all of my Loracs. So these are the ones that I was telling you about earlier. The Noir, the Fairy Tale Forest, I want to say. And then these two down here are the ones that I had from before. It was the not the big ones, the slim ones that they had. The Pro 2, which was the cool tone gray one, and then the Pro 4, I had depotted. There's like half shades from each shadow, from each palette that I wasn't using. I had depotted them all, kept the ones I wanted, and then I shoved them into the 4's packaging. And then this was an extra one that I got from Black Friday that I wasn't using, so I decided to depot all my Loracs and put them in here. Loracs, they're new ones, also have little keyholes that you can pop the shadows out from the back. So I did that. So I depotted them, and then I depotted these. They were easily to depot because I had already depotted them before. And I put them in here, and they all fit perfectly. Look at that. Now the thing with Lorac is they have a lot of repeat shades. You can see like all these, they're just very, very similar repeat shades. But their new shimmer metallic formula is amazing. They're so sparkly, so intense. They're just absolutely beautiful. And I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And I'm really back into Lorac. I'm very, very, very pleased with their new formulas. Okay, then I have, this is just a mix of indie singles. These are my Lethal Cosmetics that I got. I actually was going to do several months ago. Again, I was going to do a video. I bought them and I was going to do a first impression, and I just never got around to doing it. I really, really like their matte formulas. They're very soft, blendable, easy to build up. They're not like bam in your face right off the bat, but they're buildable, which is really nice. Their shimmers, I'm not overly impressed with. Their matte metallics, there's no sparkle to them, so it's just like a metallic, and I'm just not into that. And then these are just a combination of different indies, Look-See, couple other random. This is a dose of colors that I depotted, and then these are Kat Von D. So this is my neutral indies palette. Okay, this is my special. We're almost done. I have 3 more. This is my specialty palette. These are all of my JD Glows that I depotted because their pans were huge. Depotted them and then put them into these smaller pans. And the funny thing is, those huge pans fit perfectly into these smaller pans. So I didn't have any waste. I put all the product into these small pans, and it takes up half the space, less than half the space. These are my Cleonda shadows. Amazing, the stained glass ones. So, so beautiful. I don't have any desire to get any more. They're too expensive. And a lot of them have, they're very shifty polishes, shadows, and they all kind of shift and look very, very, very similar. These are the ones that I really wanted that had different shifts from each other. And then these are some of my Divina shadows that I thought would pair nicely with these. And then these are more of the Lethal Cosmetics. I got these ones with the intentions of pairing them with my specialty shadows. So I love Divina. It's one of my very favorite indie brands. Okay, this is my double-sided Adept palette that I was talking to you about earlier. I used to at one point had all my Vidyard palettes in here. Not this one, a different one, but I had all my Vidyard shadows. Okay, so these are all of my Jeffree Star palettes. Now, I don't support this brand anymore, but I used to really love his shadows. Before I really learned what a scummy person he was, I did love his shadows. But like I said, I don't support him anymore. But I had already bought all the shadows, and the shadows are really good quality. And they're expensive. Not expensive like, you know, Natasha Denona or Vidyard, but they were, you know, I did spend money on these, and I wanted to keep them. And his packaging, although it's artistic, was very bulky. So I depotted all of his shadows. I have my heating thing, and they actually surprisingly depotted very easily. And I put them all into this big double-sided Adept palette. Now, surprisingly, he does have a lot of neutral colors. Like, look at all these browns and golds and whites. And then he's, of course, got all these, you know, more like out there colors like reds and purples. So, and all these blues and greens. I don't reach for this a ton just because a lot of these colors out here are kind of, you know, out there. I mean, I do wear them. I do love purple and things like that, greens. But I don't reach for this a ton, but when I do really enjoy the looks that I have. And although I don't support him anymore, I do enjoy the shadows that I have. So I will keep that and I will use it. Okay, and then this is the final palette. These are all of my indie singles. And I love this palette. I love just looking at this. I take it out and look at it. It's just so beautiful. I love it. So this side is my pinks and purples and grays. And then this side has my greens and golds, and then like, you know, mustardy type colors. So these are mostly Divina. There's some Sydney Grace. There's a few color pops here and there. And then a couple just random brands that I tried, like one or two of their shadows. And then I don't have any Coastal Scents mattes left because once I started getting into like indie shadows, the mattes, you know, didn't compare. Good quality for, you know, $1, but their mattes just didn't compare once I started, you know, doing Divina Cosmetics and Sydney Grace. But their shimmers were really, really good. So I do still have a lot of their shimmers. And that's everything. So like I said, Divina, Sydney Grace, Luxie, couple color pop, and then just a couple of Coastal Scents, and then actually a few that I made myself because I used to make my own eyeshadows. So let me show you one. So years ago I made my own eyeshadows and I kept a bunch of them. So like this one, for instance, I made this one myself a few years ago. Let me swatch it for you. And there you go. Alright guys, that was everything. Like I said, if you have any questions about anything in particular that you want me to use and to get ready with me or anything like that, let me know. I know this is a very long video, so if you stuck with me, thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.